At some point in your life, you've probably cut yourself. So you're well aware that the body contains blood. And you know that when you exercise strenuously, you feel your heart pumping blood. What role does blood play in the body? What is blood made of? And how is it transported? How and why does the heart pump blood throughout the body? During the next few minutes, we're going to answer these questions and others as we investigate circulation in the human body. All living things, from plants and single-celled organisms to complex vertebrate animals, must transport nutrients, gases, and waste products in and out of their cells. Transport is the process by which substances move into or out of cells and then are distributed within cells. In relatively simple organisms, such as an amoeba, the cell is in close contact with the outside environment. But in large, complex vertebrate animals, such as these elk, a circulatory system is needed to move materials to cells throughout the body. The circulatory system links the cells of an organism to the outside environment. It consists of many different tissues and organs. One of the most important components of the circulatory system consists of a fluid referred to as blood that has many functions. You observe. How would you describe these structures? These small tube-like structures are generally referred to as blood vessels, and they carry blood throughout the body. Blood is pumped through blood vessels by a very important structure called the heart. One of the most remarkable substances in the human body is blood. Blood is considered a complex tissue and is responsible for many important functions. One of its most important functions is to transport materials to and from cells. Oxygen, wastes, and nutrients are a few of the substances transported by the blood. Another function of blood is that it helps protect the body by attacking harmful foreign substances. Blood also has the ability to form clots. That helps stop bleeding when the body is injured. As you know from getting cut, blood is a fluid. Almost 55% of the total volume of blood is made up of a liquid called plasma. Plasma consists mainly of water. A variety of other substances are dissolved in it, including salts, nutrients, proteins, glucose, oxygen, and wastes, to name just a few. A closer inspection of blood reveals that it also includes many solids, principally solid blood cells that float in plasma. The two main types of blood cells include red blood cells and white blood cells. We all know from cuts that blood is red. The color of blood comes from the huge number of red blood cells. More specifically, hemoglobin is a compound in red blood cells that's responsible for giving blood its red color. Your body has 25 to 30 trillion red blood cells, and every second your body makes about 2 million new red blood cells. Red blood cells, referred to as erythrocytes, are very important because they carry oxygen from the lungs to other cells in the body. They also carry carbon dioxide, a waste gas, back to the lungs where it can be exhaled. Red blood cells have two possible carbohydrates which coat their surface. The letters A and B refer to these two different types of carbohydrates. A person that has blood type A has the type of A carbohydrate in their blood cells, and a person that has blood type B has the B-type carbohydrate in their blood cells. A person with type AB blood has both carbohydrates, and a person with type O blood has neither of these carbohydrates. Leukocytes, or white blood cells, help the human body fight diseases. There are a number of different kinds of white blood cells with various functions. White blood cells are much larger and less numerous than red blood cells. White blood cells have the ability to move through blood vessels into body tissues to fight infections. If you've ever had an infected cut, a blister, or sore, it became swollen due in part to a high concentration of white blood cells. The third type of solids found in blood are platelets. Platelets consist of cell fragments that play a key role in blood clotting. Through a series of reactions, platelets help weave a net across a cut or injury. Without clotting, you'd bleed to death. A vast network of pipes carries fresh water and wastewater throughout this building. Your body also has a vast network of pipe-like structures called blood vessels that transport blood. The body has so many blood vessels that if stretched end to end, they would go around the world at least 2.5 times. There are 3 main types of blood vessels: arteries, veins, and capillaries. The size and structure of each type of blood vessel depends on its function. Arteries are blood vessels with thick, elastic, muscular walls that carry oxygen-rich blood from the heart to the body. You can remember the roles of arteries by the simple phrase, arteries away, meaning they carry blood away from the heart. The pulmonary arteries are the only arteries in the body that carry oxygen-depleted blood away from the heart. They carry blood to the lungs. If you place your fingers on the underside of your wrist, you can feel blood pulsing in an artery. Veins, another type of blood vessel, return oxygen-depleted blood to the heart. There is one exception, however. The pulmonary vein returns oxygen-rich blood from the lungs to the heart. The walls of veins are thinner and only slightly elastic. Blood in veins is under low pressure. To prevent blood from backflowing, flap-like valves allow blood to flow in only one direction, toward the heart. Thin-walled blood vessels, called capillaries, are so small that blood cells flow through them in single file. Gases, nutrients, and wastes are exchanged through the thin walls of capillaries. Capillaries form branches that connect arteries and veins. You predict. Where do you think blood pumped by the heart goes? Blood pumped by the heart circulates throughout blood vessels in the body. The heart is an amazing muscle, beating every second throughout your entire life. In a single day, your heart pumps as much as 40,000 liters of blood, enough to fill a train car. Pretty amazing for an organ the size of your fist. The heart has 2 sides, separated by a thick wall of muscle called the septum. There are a total of 4 chambers in the heart, 2 on each side. The upper chambers are called atria, and the lower chambers are called ventricles. The pumping action of the heart has 2 main periods, a period of relaxation called the diastole, and a period of contraction called systole. In diastole, the period of relaxation, blood enters from the atria into the ventricles through valves called AV valves. In the period of contraction, systole, The ventricles contract. Oxygen-depleted blood flows out of the right ventricle into the pulmonary artery. The pulmonary artery has two branches, each of which goes to a lung. Here, blood picks up oxygen and gives off carbon dioxide. From the left ventricle, oxygen-rich blood enters the largest artery in the body, the aorta. Arteries stemming off the aorta carry oxygen-rich blood to all parts of the body. When the atria relax, blood from the lungs enters the left atrium, and blood from the rest of the body enters the right atrium, starting the process all over again. Whenever you have a physical examination, a medical professional usually measures your pulse rate. A pulse rate is the number of times the heart beats in 1 minute. This instrument, called a sphygmomanometer, is also used to measure something. You decide. What does a sphygmomanometer measure? A sphygmomanometer measures blood pressure and is usually taken in the upper arm. Blood pressure is the pressure of blood against the wall of a blood vessel, most commonly an artery. Blood pressure is usually expressed as two numbers. The first number is the systolic pressure, which is the blood pressure in arteries as it's pumped by the heart. The second number, the diastolic pressure, is blood pressure in arteries at rest. The normal blood pressure in a resting adult is around 120/80. Quite often, blood pressure increases during exercise and times of stress. Sometimes people suffer from a medical condition called hypertension, also referred to as high blood pressure. A common cause of high blood pressure is a disease called atherosclerosis. Atherosclerosis is a condition characterized by narrowing of the arteries. This is due to an accumulation of fatty deposits called plaque on the inner walls of arteries. Plaque not only impedes blood flow, contributing to high blood pressure, but it can also promote clotting, which can stop the flow of blood. When coronary arteries, those that supply blood to the heart, become partially or completely clogged with plaque, a heart attack may occur, damaging the heart muscle. If a clot obstructs blood flow to the brain, a stroke occurs. Both heart attacks and strokes can cause death or severe disability. For this reason, medical professionals are very concerned about monitoring safe blood pressure levels. There are several things that all people should do, regardless of age, to help maintain a healthy circulatory system. It's recommended that you exercise vigorously 5 to 6 times per week for at least 45 to 60 minutes. It's also recommended people eat a well-balanced diet, low in salt and low in saturated fats. Saturated fats are found in foods made from animal products, such as milk, cheese, and red meats. These contain specific types of fats containing cholesterol, which is known to form plaque on the walls of arteries in some people. Smoking, excessive alcohol consumption, and the use of non-prescribed drugs are also a health risk. Finally, it's recommended that you have a regular physical examination by a medical professional to monitor the various components of your circulatory system so you can lead a long, healthy, and active life. During the past few minutes, we've investigated the amazing circulatory system. We began by discussing the important role that blood plays in transporting gases, nutrients, chemical messages, and in fighting foreign substances. The basic components of blood were highlighted: plasma, red and white blood cells, and platelets. The vast network of blood vessels, including arteries, veins, and capillaries, was explored. Next, we investigated the structures and characteristics of the body's pump, the heart. We then discussed how blood flows throughout the body, how blood pressure is measured, and some of the factors that contribute to high blood pressure. Some other circulatory system problems, including stroke and heart attacks, were addressed. We ended by discussing things you can do to promote health of the body's circulatory system so you can live an active, healthy life. Fill in the correct word to complete the sentence. Number 1 is the process by which materials move in and out of cells. Number 2, the system links cells to the outside environment. Number 3, about 55% of blood consists of a liquid called Number 4, red blood cells are responsible for carrying 2 body cells. Number 5, are cell fragments responsible for clotting? Number 6, return oxygen-depleted blood to the heart. Number 7, the lower chambers of the heart are called Number 8 is the period of contraction in the heart. Number 9 is a condition also referred to as high blood pressure. And number 10, if a blood clot blocks blood flow to the brain, A may occur.